Greetings, greetings, humanity, and welcome to Channel Other Doc. I'm Jim, I use he, him pronouns, and this is our campaign of Bookhounds of London, a setting for Trail of Cthulhu by Pelgrane Press. We're going to go around and say hi to everyone, see who they are and who they're playing, and we will be starting with Celeste. Hello.
Hi, I'm Celeste. I use they or he pronouns. I'm playing Phineas Webb and getting bitten by a cat, who uses he, him pronouns. And I'm really excited for this. I think we're doing an escape room today because I've been told that I'm going to have an experience. So, maybe that's going to be a good time. But I'm really excited to see what happened last time because I hear it was fun, maybe, possibly. So, yay!
Somebody had fun.
Yes. There was fun to be had. But unfortunately, the characters, I don't think we're having it. Well, maybe Matthias. But
yeah, that's the one the ones of her.
Yeah,
I thought it was great.
We're given value of fun. But now let us head over to Danielle. Hello.
Hello, everyone. I am Danielle, and I use she, her pronouns, and so does my character, Lady Evie DeVere, formerly Lady, I guess, who also was not here last week. And so I do not know what happened. So much like Celeste, I am excited to find out what happened last week and what my character was doing in the interim.
And finally over to Lynn. Hello.
Hey everyone, I'm Lynn, she, they, and tonight I am playing Lillian Starling, the she, her, and you know what? The catalog agent, and you know what? She likes the occult when it makes her money, not whatever the hell happened to her last time. She can leave that to the rest of her friends who are more like into the shenanigans that brings across.
Cultily inclined, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Unfortunately, Hollow is not with us at this point. There is a chance he might be able to pop in sometime between now and the end. But he has a lot of real life going on right now. So we may not see him tonight. If not, we wish him well. But this evening, once again, I am playing Kenneth Finley, who is a criminal, and he is preparing to visit a city that is incredibly dangerous for him to visit because he's in the wrong kind of gang for that city, or he was anyway. Supposedly no longer in that gang, because he did his time, but hard to say. But at any rate, before I hand things over to our keeper, you may see us use safety tools from time to time, like we do with the other games on this channel. We're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. If we hit something that's crossing a line for one of us, any of us can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else, hold up a card, make an X symbol, and we'll back up and do something else. If something happens that we're okay having in the game, but we don't want a graphic description of it, we can type an N in the Zoom chat, and we'll fade to black on it or put it behind a veil. So it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. Finally, if we're exploring a topic or an area of roleplay that's particularly intense for us, but we want to keep going anyway, we can put an O in the chat to let us know we're okay and that we're all good to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is put an O with a question mark after it when we're moving into a difficult topic, or if we say or we do something and then think, maybe that might have been a little too much, then everyone else can respond to that again with an X, an N, or an O to let us know if we're still doing okay. We're also using the pause. If any of us needs to take some time, we can ask for a pause in the game while we discuss things, or just take a break for as long as anyone needs. As a reminder, just a few content warnings. This game may make references to abuse of power, asphyxiation, betrayal, body horror, boiling fluids, cannibalism, chemicals, classicism, cults, darkness, drowning, drugs, eldritch horror, explosions, exposure to harsh weather or hard vacuum, fire, gaslighting, glass, gore, greed, harsh lights, heights, hostility, imperialism, insects, loud noises, mental illness, murder, mutation, nightmare imagery, poverty, the demonic, theft, vampirism, vehicular accident, and war imagery. It may also have the potential for PvP action depending on the player's choices. If you would like to see that list in chat and you're watching live on Twitch, you can go to the chat and type !book CW for a book content warning, and that will show up there in the chat. It will also be showing up periodically on its own on rotation. And finally, please remember we have an open door policy, which means that any of us and any of you can feel free to step away from this at any time if you need to. It's just a game, and mental health is always more important. So now, without further ado, I shall hand things over to our keeper, Pope. Hello.
Hello, everybody. I am Pope. You can find me around the internets at Pope World Build, both on Blue Sky and Start Playing Games. So let's give you all a quick update if this is your first time joining us. We're in 1931. It is the evening of Valentine's Day. And the day has been eventful, to say the least, for our folks that work at a very particular bookshop. They have gotten their hands on a book of definite occult meaning that they are seeking to bind, considering its proclivities. But in so doing, they may or may not have made a deal with something internal. And through a series of unfortunate events, find themselves on a train, the last train, out of London to Edinburgh, Scotland, to try and intercept individuals from a rival bookstore at an auction that is happening at midnight. And they may or may not have to assassinate / sacrifice one of the group's cat's paws, paramours. It's complicated. But speaking of paramours, there are at least two on this train ride, and we've seen what one has had to deal with on this train ride up. And she has had a rough go of things. Now we get to check in with the other train car and see how their trip to the north was, considering the other group's was enlightening, profitable, hazardous, maiming, definitely memorable. So, in order for us to go forward, we often have to go back. So, first off, Evie, for this evening's excursion, what did you pack?
Oh dear. I think she has packed well, we're not really planning to like stay overnight, but I think she would pack like one change of clothes just to have an additional outfit just in case, right? We are talking about going and murdering a person that usually involves blood, you know, just to have something else practically. She would pack to have some money on her just in case. I think she has one of those like dainty little like ladies' guns that ladies can put in their purse. And so she would pack one of those.
I I happen to have been doing a very deep dive on firearms for tangential reasons, 40K reasons. It's
Mm.
weird. But I've happened to know. I now know too much, and I'm probably on a number of new watch lists. So an over under ladies Derringer or
Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's not the biggest gun in the world, but it's something that she can use for her own self-defense if she needs it. And I think in addition to that, she probably has like a dagger or a knife or something like that. Mostly for occult reasons is why she has that. But again, given what we're about to walk into, it seems prudent to have it on her. So she has those, and if anyone ever pushes her on them, they're for self-defense, right? And then uh, she would carry with her anything that it would otherwise seem like it would be unseemly to not have on you. Like she's probably got like her gloves and maybe like a small case of toiletries with like her makeup and things like that. She's probably got the book that Lillian brought back so that she can read parts of it on the train ride. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's probably the highlights reel of what she brings with her.
very, very interesting. Um, just question when it comes to that firearm,
Mm-hmm.
because I know, like, Hollow would also be interested in this, and this is more in keeping with my strange mental proclivities. Um, would you go for concealability or would you go for stopping power?
She would go for some happy medium between the two. I mean, if she, I think she's probably inclined to carry slightly larger bags. So that gives her a little bit more wiggle room to
Um,
carry something larger. Much like me, she prefers a bag that she can put a book in. But it still has to be concealable, right? And she doesn't want the entire bag to be taken up by the gun.
yeah,
So as much stopping power as she can reasonably get within those constraints is what she would go for. Like she wants it to be an effective weapon. She doesn't want it to be like she's not carrying around a shotgun.
yeah. No. Fun fact for all you historians out there: it is specifically during the 1920s that the Derringer finds itself back in vogue, specifically amongst quote unquote the fairer sex. Um, and it comes essentially in three styles during this period and is heavily manufactured, traded all over the world. It comes in was referred to as 22 long or 22 rimfire as we know it today. Um, the equivalent of what would eventually become 25 ACP. Both of those are over under, so you get two shots. And then the single shot, which would be about a 41 caliber bullet. So it sounds to me like Evie is carrying the precursor to the 25.
Sure.
So two shots, moderate put down power. It's more about, as with all things firearms, where you place the shot as opposed to the caliber. Because really, until you get to either rifle style rounds of 30 caliber or higher, or in handgun rounds, something along the lines of 45 or higher, it's more about what's the actual bullet is doing as opposed to any form of wound channel.
Mm-hmm.
Yay, knowing too much. Also, for all you science fiction writers, just eyes are on you, you should be caring far more about modern gunpowder and how it is used, as well as metal tolerances. But yes. Now, with that being said, Evie, when it comes to your paramour,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think she would pack?
Oh dear. I mean, Evie probably would have told her to go ahead and pack a change of clothes just in case, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, the sort of things that you always try, like cash, if there's some form of identification, then, you know, the kind of things that you should always take with you on a brief trip. But I think outside of that, I don't even know what she would pack. Grace is more of a like society gal sort of type, like middle class, but still like um debatable whether or not she would also have a small pistol or something as a defense weapon. But I would imagine she probably is packing fairly light since this is not intended to be like a long trip or anything like that. Certainly, I would hope that Grace still has the chocolates that that Evie gave her.
Those have been packed for the train ride in a small carpet bag. That's sort of like she split her cash amongst like an actual proper luggage bag and then the carpet bag. Which in there she also has like a cloche, like a few toiletries, etc.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, Phineas, what have you packed for this trip?
Most likely change of clothes. And he does also have a firearm, although it's much bigger. So he probably broke it down and put it in the suitcase with the clothing.
Now, when you say break it down,
Like
again,
disassemble.
there are multiple terms when it comes to breaking down.
Okay.
I don't know too much.
I don't know these things.
So this is 1931.
Uh-huh.
You have, not only do you have a long and varied now list of different style handguns from previous things, but there's also what is referred to as a breakdown rifle.
Mm-hmm.
Are you bringing a rifle to this excursion, or are you bringing just a handgun?
I'm trying to think of. I feel like he would have a rifle. He feels like, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
I mean, given the forces at work, he's not taking any fucking chances.
Okay. Because specifically this is Britain, and you are of a particular class of citizen, I have to ask, Phineas, have you gone safari before?
Yeah, honestly, yeah, probably.
Okay. Did you bring your breakdown safari rifle?
Yeah, probably.
Excuse me one moment. I need to consult my ballistics chart.
I need to consult this cat digging through my things. Hello, sir. What are we
Definitely
doing?
one of the funnier lines I've heard in a game. Excuse me, I need to consult my ballistics chart.
Yeah. I played Shadowrun for a good amount of time, so let's consult the explosives chart was a pretty common
So,
phrase.
for those playing at home, what Phineas has most likely brought along is a 375 Holland and Holland Magnum, a medium bore cartridge introduced in 1912 by the London gunmaker of said name. This is was referred to as a side-by-side safari rifle that, to put it mildly, is the lightest load for killing an elephant. Later on, there would be other iterations like the 500 Jeffrey or the 500 Nitro. Then much later on, the say 570 T-Rex, and then the 600 Nitro, which would be enough to possibly hurt a Space Marine. So just keep that in mind, that this is a tapered, straight wall for those of you who live in places where they for some reason think that a pinched cartridge makes a great deal of difference in ballistics, when all you need is more powder in this day and age. So yes, you could hunt technically deer with this in modern age. I wouldn't suggest it. But yes, this will kill an elephant, which means it will definitely kill a grizzly and at least mildly inconvenient anything eldritch. So yes, good. That tells me the size of your luggage if you're using that as a breakdown gun. So
I have the proper permits on me as well.
of course, but so that is a 24-inch barrel. This is not supple. When assembled, this is not supple. Also, there is no suppressing this.
Yeah.
It is quite loud.
Right.
And
it's a last resort.
I believe the
I don't take this out and assemble it unless I intend to fire it.
Felt recoil is above 60 pounds. So one's shoulder is going to be bruised if not braced correctly. At very least. Also, for all of you keeping track, yes, this is the 1930s. The other primary weaponry of the Call of Cthulhu mythos that is used as the big gun is before everyone fell in love with the 12 gauge, so the 10 gauge still exists. Yeah. But enough of my strange mind. Now we go to strange travel. Anything else aside from your walking around gun?
I think if there's any like items that have like protective properties to them that I have, I would be bringing that.
Would you like to use the store's pool?
Sure, why not?
Okay. So you want, and we have played for quite some time, you and I, Celeste. Do you want to give me things, or do you want me to pull into the bag of goodies that is within my little mind palace?
I can't think of anything, so what you got?
Okay. Quick.
Despite my better judgment, I trust you.
Never do that. So I have news. I rolled the happy sad die. It is the saddest face.
Oh, good.
So
I love that.
by protective, we mean things that will not only inconvenience you, but everyone around you. So you have this tiny little bag of dust that has a little like twine wrapped around it and a paper label that says "Do not use unless absolutely necessary" in very well written script.
Do we have fuck you brand pocket sand? Is that what this is?
No.
Okay. I'll have to explain to you what that is later.
In fact, I know thanks to other things on the internet, I know way too much about the ponderance of pocket sand and its usage in duels in Europe. That's another sidetrack. Perhaps if you're watching this, this is another discussion we need to have. Now, you also have a very tarnished metal St. George's cross.
Mhm.
And if you don't want to use all of your points, we can do one more thing. If you want to use all of your points, we can do two more things.
Honestly, I'm good with those two.
Okay. So
Yeah.
just two things from the store that you're grabbing. See if either of those items get used on just the trip up. So you are all packed. You make your way onto the train. Since these tickets were grabbed late, we're separated. You have one group, which is a group that went before you are closer to the actual engine. You are just one train car behind them. And the cabins here, again, this is not a sleeper car. This is just a nice little small side cabin. You are in decent accommodations. There is two benches that face one another. There's a small fold-up table they can choose to have down or up. There is overhead stowage, and there are like by the pocket door two electric wall sconces. And then you have the window, which is a counterlever outward if you want to open it. Some of the night wind come in, but this is London in the 1930s. I would strongly suggest it. And of course, it's the 1930s. No one cares if you smoke. And there, again, this is also 1930s train car, London. Everything always permeated with the scent of tobacco and other things. But Miss Phineas, you and two ladies have this particular car. Guys, begin taking off. Starts out as a relatively normal ride. Everything sounds right, the movement's right. So, It is just as you get to the edge of London's border that there seems to be strange lighting coming from like the cabin behind you, perchance. Multiple different varying lights. And simultaneously, as this is happening, sound of the train begins to quiet down. The movement feels the same, but the sounds of the city, the train itself, begin to die down. The light outside your window gets brighter and brighter. What do you all do?
Lizzie would go to the window to try to peer out of it and see like what might be going on. Evie and windows are having a day.
Indeed. So,
We're behind the others, or the others are behind us?
you're behind the others.
Okay. So it's
So,
okay.
engine, a few other train cars, the other group's car, your car, the lower class cars caboose.
I would start walking toward the car where everything is bad, is like, at least like to look through because there's like the door and then an interstitial area and then the other door.
Yeah.
And
But
like there's
it's-
usually windows on that door, on those doors, right?
Yeah, but it's not the next car over. It's just
It's
the
the
next cabin
cabin.
behind you.
It's in our it's in our car.
Oh.
Is there? Yeah, I mean, is there any? You said like the sound has gotten quiet. Can we hear anything? Not rail track noise, but like if we like put our ears to the wall between the cabins, can we hear anything?
Okay. Well, this feels like a roll.
Sure.
So,
What would this be?
this, because you're trying to this is a sense trouble.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, so I will spend 2 points. My sense trouble. Unfortunately, I gave myself some points in that. 6.
Okay. You've said previously you like trying to peer out the window, you're putting your ear to the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And it is at this precise moment a number of things happen.
Oh dear.
First, there is a white out of light from the window. So instead of multicolors in the darkness of London, there was just bright light. Of like just like audience blinders inside, but also for all of us in painting a visual picture, there's also a flood of blinding light from underneath the door. Sound goes completely still. The sensation of movement does not stop. And the little passenger in your heads goes, "Oh, fuck."
If that happens, if he says that, Evie will kind of turn away so that, like, trying to conceal from Grace, like, that she's, like, talking to someone in her own head and go, would you care to elaborate?
I don't think you're on your same plane of existence, and I have lost all contact with Matthias.
Fuck.
Yes!
There's an awful lot of changing planes of existence going around today.
I am observing that.
Like, just to be clear, can we see right now? Are we capable of?
The entire cabin is filled with blinding light. And then, slowly, gradually, the light subsides. You are still in this train, on this train. But as the light subsides, the late evening light of London is I want to say a half moon this evening. So there's some moonlight. That has all been replaced. Outside your window, there is just, for a moment, darkness. As though you are going through a tunnel. The sound of the train comes back. It meets with the same rhythm. Strange thing is, you do not hear commotion from anyone or anything.
If we open the door of our cabin to kind of like look out into the main like hallway of the train, does things seem normal out there?
You open the door. Folks, I love to borrow the film language of cinema in this moment. The interior of this beautiful period train car appears Kubrickian in how quiet and well appointed it is.
Okay, don't like that. Well, but at least still is an interior of the train car, and that was a consideration that I had, that there might not even be a rest of the train car anymore. I think Evie would turn back to Phineas in particular and say, do you think we should go check on the other passengers? I mean, it's gone awfully quiet.
I think we should go check on our people. If we can.
Yes, I have a feeling that we're not going to be able to reach the others.
All right, so far, my evening has gotten very strange, dear, and I do not like where this is all going.
Uh, Darling, I just need you to stay here and stay safe, and we're going to get out of this, okay?
Right. As
Promise. This is
she finally digs into the carpet bag and breaks out the chocolates.
nice. Yeah.
That some are missing.
Excellent.
And just as you're walking out the door, see, someone was hungry.
You're like looking over her shoulder. Um, yeah, I think with if Phineas is coming with
Mhm.
I think we number one, we should go check the connection to the other cars
Yeah.
and see if that is if that seems like we could even get into the other cars. And then number two, we should knock on the doors of some of the other cabins in this car and see check and see if the other passengers are okay.
Yeah.
And the whole time Evie is trying to pay attention to see if there are any signs of like, you know, her passenger is saying they're on a different plane of existence. What plane might that be? What are the clues? Like, how did we get in here? Like, she's keeping her eyes open for anything that looks informative in that regard.
It is as you go into the hallway space and are about to try and open the conjoining door into that interstitial space
Mm-hmm.
that you did not hear her step out. You did not hear her presence at all. This incredibly well-dressed, strikingly attractive, red-headed woman goes, I wouldn't do that, dear.
Are you another passenger?
Yes.
Let me rephrase. Were you on the train before the light became blinding?
Yes, dear.
All right. Then why wouldn't you open the door?
Because that doesn't lead where you think it leads.
And you know this how, madam?
I have a sense for such things. As she, like, produces a cigarette case, takes out a cigarette, produces a match with, like, sleight of hand, like, conjures from her hands. Drags the match across her very stoic, strong jaw. And manages to cause it to light a flame. Like dragging it across somehow through the skin, across her bones, and then lights her own cigarette.
Evie's affections may be changing.
As she likes to take a cigarette, takes a drag. I'm currently spoken for, love, but I could make room. She just looks at you and it's like she could read your thoughts.
Evie like has like a mild blush on her face and then says, it's probably a conversation for later, when we're out of immediate danger. Immediate danger, do you think?
Oh, well, somebody obviously didn't want either you or myself getting to our destination.
Do you have any thoughts about how to get back on track, so to speak?
Well, going that way won't work. That has been separated by, I'm guessing, somebody that you know.
I'm sorry, I missed the last bit of what you said.
Somebody that way has been separated by somebody I'm guessing you know, since it is most definitely mundane in practice and sophomoric at best.
I'm sorry, are you calling me sophomoric?
Dear, you barely have a century under your belt.
Okay, that's true, but it's rude to comment on a lady's age.
Age is all we have, love.
I'm sorry, I don't believe I caught your name, madam.
You may call me Alex.
Alice, I assure you this young lady is very experienced in such things, despite the fact that she doesn't have quite as many years as you, and I trust her judgment. And I think it very rude that you would be judging her so harshly at first blush.
Oh, if you think I'm judging her harshly. My dear fellow, we have so much to look forward to later.
All right, this conversation has gotten uncomfortably personal. When we circle back to how we get things back to normal, I have places to be tonight.
In order to go forward, we're going to have to go back.
All right. Are you then advising us to go? And she points like down the hall to the other car, which goes, I assume, to the lower class end. She's like, are you assume should we check the tail end of the car then?
Most likely try and find whatever clues we can and then deride the initial spell and try and bypass whatever thing your friend did. Or
I assure
hope
you,
he comes
whoever
to proper conclusions and derails his own spell.
I can assure you that whoever did this is no friend of mine.
Associate.
All right, fine. Yeah, Jim clearly knows more than I do. I assume this has something to do with what's going on in their car.
Sorry.
It's totally it's Matthias's fault. I know it is. Okay, so she will. I guess Evie will go to the back of the car and take a look out into that like interstitial space. Does it seem like everything is like if she opens it, she's not gonna like die instantly?
You look at that interstitial space, and you look through this long window. It is frosted. There is very little light out there. But what you can see, it looks like the space is normal, just dark.
Okay. You said the train is lit by like electric sconces. There's not like candles or anything.
No.
Damn. Okay. Evie's gonna go fetch her bag from the room, and she's going to fish out the pistol and the knife and arm herself just in case.
Give me a moment. And Phineas takes down his fucking suitcase, starts taking out the pieces of the rifle. Like,
Yeah.
Grace is like just trying to enjoy the chocolates while you guys are just busting out firearms.
Yeah. Evie will put like a little when Phineas is otherwise occupied, Evie will put like a little kiss on Grace's cheek and just say, "Stay here, darling." And then
She
oh,
just
and
sort of, like whacks her head in disbelief as she digs into a caramel cluster.
yeah, listen, chocolate makes everything better. She should just stay here and eat the chocolate. Um Evie will also grab she still has that little book that her uncle gave her that had like protective spells in it that she was trying to use to protect everything from the book. She will grab that just in case there might be something useful in it as well.
As you come out with, book, dagger, and gun. I knew there was a familiar resemblance.
Excuse me?
You're related to Philippe.
I'm related to who?
Philippe.
Oh. Did we establish who Philippe is?
No.
Okay. I mean, she'll look at Alice and say, well, half of my family is French, so I perhaps have a relative by that name, although I don't know to whom you are referring.
Probably a great grandfather.
Okay. Just gonna set that one to the side for right now, that she potentially knows Evie's great grandfather. Right. Well, are you going to just stand there and continue making witty remarks, or are you actually going to help?
Well, I usually don't do anything for free.
Well, it seems to me your ass is on the line as much as ours.
You would think that, but that's very much not the case.
Name your price.
You already have too high of a tab.
That implies that we've met before.
No. I just know all of your markers. And I already know where you're going. I get nothing. You, on the other hand, are only partially spoken. Also, I don't like being listened in on by comparators. So she gestures. Wait, no, no! It's a lot quieter in your head.
I think he's actually probably a little bit annoyed because as much as she maybe doesn't like him, he has been mildly helpful. Um, and she was hoping to rely on him to help get some get out of this, since he probably wants to get out of as much as she does. Um, well, I didn't ask you to do that. What makes you think that I'm going to agree to anything?
I don't necessarily think you are. But if you are, I don't necessarily need a rules lawyer in your head.
Okay. And I think Evie just walks right past Alice and heads for the back door.
She just sort of cocks a smile and just sort of leans back drapes herself against the door. Let's see how you do, love.
Yeah, that's fine. Evie's not gonna respond to that. She's just gonna go gently pry open the door, like going very slowly with caution. Again, keeping her eyes open for anything that would give her some clues as to what is going on here. I will, if it matters to the GM, remind you that I have 14 points in occult. So Evie knows what she is doing when it comes to things like this.
Phineas is several paces back and has the rifle at the ready.
So you start prying the door. And the first thing you notice is the temperature difference.
Mm-hmm.
It is exceedingly cold on the other side of this door.
Okay.
Second, the smell.
Mm-hmm.
This does not smell anywhere near London. The smell is damp,
Mm-hmm.
crisp, clean.
Interesting. So kind of very different from, for instance, the smell that she got out of the window earlier today, when she was, yeah. Okay.
And as you open the door, something maybe insect-like. It's tiny, and it has a bright amber light whizzes past you as it does the nailed hand. Dallas picks that light and then just shoves it in the mouth, and you hear a loud crunch.
Wait, Alice does that?
Probably
Right.
won't close the door, love.
Evie will close the door.
Been a while since I've been a fairy.
Ooh, okay. Um, does that give Evie any ideas about where we might be? Like based on all the things she's read?
You don't necessarily know where you are,
Uh-huh.
but you have a distinct idea that that door is now a doorway.
Right. Yeah.
Yay.
Mm.
And it's a doorway to a number of different places. You're not sure of where, just sure of where not.
Okay.
It's not hell. It's definitely not heaven. It's definitely not the plane of existence you were on.
Okay. Test. Evie's gonna open the door again, just a crack, just enough to get a sense of the atmosphere again. Does it seem like when she opens it a second time, it's opened on the same place? Like the smell is the same, the temperature is the same?
Yeah.
Okay. She'll shut it quickly. She's not going to open it. She's just a couple seconds so she can verify that when she opens it a second time, it doesn't suddenly go somewhere else. Probably looks very strange to everyone else. Like she opens it and then closes it like really fast.
Oh dear. Looks like we have an ordeal ahead of ourselves.
Would you care to make helpful comments instead of cryptic ones?
That depends. Are you going to pay for my help or not?
I think I've already told you that if you'd like to help, considering you are also here and stuck, we would appreciate your assistance.
I'm not that interested yet.
Then you may keep your comments to yourself.
Certainly.
And Evie will turn to Phineas and say, well, wherever it leads now, the connection seems to be at least somewhat stable. It opened to the same place the second time I opened it.
Right. And I assume it's somewhere we don't want to be.
Well, given certain comments, and she doesn't look over her shoulder, but there she kind of rolls her eyes. I would guess that it is. Well, I don't think it's the worst place that it could open, considering we did have an experience with a portal opening to unpleasant locales earlier today. It certainly doesn't feel anything like that. I wouldn't qualify it as safe.
So, our options are this. Either we go there, or we stay here.
Well, I don't think staying here is really going to do us much good.
Is there an option we haven't considered? Because that seems to leave just one.
Evie's gonna pull out the books that she has and quickly skim through them to see if there's anything that might be applicable in this situation. Also racking her brain.
Go ahead and give me a quick library use check.
All right. Let's do another 6.
Okay, it takes you some time. But from the books that you have, you think this leads to a hypothetical interstitial realm. It is roughly titled The Never Never.
Nice.
Is a hypothetical realm, sort of that was referred to as the shadow, but like the astral, touches on multiple planes of existence. It is a way for thing A to get to place D through this plane of weird.
Yeah.
So it's like the place that Nightcrawler goes when he bamps.
No, that has actually been canonically narrowed down to actually hell.
But creatures like Nightcrawler who do something similar might go through there.
Yes and no. It is. Think of it as the place where dreams go between the dreaming. A dreamer dreams, and there are things within the dreamscape that come to the dreamer. But where do they go when they stop dreaming?
Interesting.
They go to the Never Never, and then if they're forgotten about or called someplace else, they leave it. Is a cosmological holding cell interstitial space is purgatory with more stuff in it.
Okay.
And an easier way to connect to, which is bad.
Okay.
But it's also great if you're trying to get someplace else, because it connects to everywhere.
Evie turns to Phineas. I have good news and bad news. No, she doesn't actually say that. it as part of kind of figuring out that we're in this space, does she, does she know like what the common means of getting into this space is? Like, what should she be looking for that somebody used to pull them in here?
One never gets here on purpose in most cases.
Okay.
This is a whoopsie. Because usually in any form of summoning, like the Never Never is dimensional lubricant. You, in the runes that you would use to, in theory, summon something like an angel, demon, there is something that would call it, if you're going very old school, call it through the Never Never to your plane of existence. To give everyone sort of a halfway point and understanding. Think of a summoning circle like a Stargate. And the Never Never is one of the runes in everything's dial-up. It is one.
Okay.
It is the way you call out. But you never go to.
Got it.
It
And
is
in
the
theory,
realm where the internet dial-up sound comes from.
and in theory, if you had a summoning that went wrong, perhaps it could cause an effect like this.
A summoning or dismissal,
Uh-huh.
a curse, anything like this could touch upon the Never Never, especially if, someone interfered with the original spell.
Right. Okay. And so does, again, just from what, feel free to ask me to make another roll at any point. What would enable one to get out?
There are a number of ways. The first few that immediately come to mind, given your score, I'm not going to make you make another roll. Because, as we've established, everything is canon, not everything is true.
Right.
The first thing would be to use perfectly good adjacent portal to try and get to another plane of existence. That is both good and bad, because you can probably make that happen far easier here than you could probably do anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
It's just what it connects to most easiest isn't necessarily places you want to go. The other thing is to do that sort of classic Arthurian thing of taking on an ordeal within the cosmological halfway house that is the Never Never. It will give you things to try and overcome, and should you achieve it, spit you out where it wants you to go.
Okay.
The other thing would be to try and call something to make a deal, essentially dial-up service.
Mm-hmm. Something like the person behind us.
Cosmological Uber.
Yeah. Okay. So before Evie talks to Phineas, I think the one last thing would be knowing that this is a doorway and potentially it could be jumped to something else. And you were saying that the question really is, what would it jump to? Is there a way of figuring, like kind of feeling it out and trying to get a sense for if she tried to make it jump and go somewhere else, where it might go?
There are there are spells and means of trying to divine. It is just, do you feel like doing that here and now?
Okay, she probably wouldn't do that without talking to Phineas first then. Okay, so after watching Evie kind of like disappear into a number of books for a second and then kind of resurface later, Phineas, by the way, Evie is like flat out ignoring Alice at this point. She'll say, okay, I think I might have at least a cursory handle on the situation. I think we are in the sort of interstitial realm, typically referred to as the Never Never. My guess is that somebody did some kind of spell on the train and it went wrong. Probably a summoning or something of that nature. And now I am perhaps starting to think I might know who brought us here. Anyway, the door, I could try to change where it leads. It's a little dicey. If the door's affinity is for worse places than this, that could be not a very good avenue. I'd have to expend some effort even to figure that out. The other option would be to accept whatever challenge this place has lined up for us.
Like a quest.
Yes. It's very, very Arthurian. And that comes with all of the potential dangers of such a thing. But in theory, at least, if we were to go that route, then when this place spits us back out again, it might actually do so where we want it to go.
How confident are you that you can make this do what we want it to do?
That I can make the door jump? Well, I'm pretty confident I can make the door jump. I just don't quite know where to. I could spend a little time and effort to figure that out before attempting to make it change, but we don't exactly have a lot of control over where it goes, and it could very well go somewhere worse.
So it's take the risk and have you do it, or undertake this quest and all the dangers that come with it, but the plus side would be perhaps it would actually put us where we want to go, and it wouldn't be as much of a gamble. Or a different kind of gamble.
A different kind of gamble. I think it's a surer bet in terms of the result, but perhaps just as dangerous. Whereas the other one is a significant gamble in terms of result.
Have you considered the other variable in this equation? My eyes flick toward the train car where your paramour is eating chocolate.
Yeah, okay. I'm just like, I thought you were referring to Alice. I don't know if she would have to come with us if we decided to do the ordeal portion of this.
Would you want to risk leaving her behind?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, I have a feeling she's probably safer in the car than she is out there with us. But on the flip side of that, if we leave her here and we complete whatever the ordeal is and we do manage to get back, what if it doesn't take for her? It's probably safer to bring her with. I don't know what I'm going to tell her.
The truth. You come with us, it's going to be dangerous, but it's the only way you're getting out of here.
Yes. Obviously, I'm going to tell her the truth. I'm not going to lie to her. I'm just trying to find a way to say it that doesn't cause a panic.
I meant be blunt.
Yes, well,
Flowery language only gets you so far, dear.
I'm aware of that. Does that mean you would prefer to take chance, to take the risk?
Anything worth doing is going to involve sweat, blood, and possibly tears.
I suppose that's true.
There's no shortcuts in life, dear.
I rather think that depends on your perspective and how much money you have, but in this circumstance, yes, I would agree.
And that's when we're going to cut to Lillian, Kenneth, you are pulling into Edinburgh Station. You are all very banged up. You have an unconscious Matthias, very bruised, but in one piece. Just leaning in the bench, with your paramour beside you. She is banged up. But you are all alive, and the train has fully stopped.
Well, I'm certainly going to take it that this is our plane and not some sort of other nasty trick, because I am had it with this.
Well, yeah, that, and just sort of Kenneth just sort of glances out the window, and
It looks like Edinburgh.
Yeah, like, I mean, no, I doubt any other plane could copy that. I mean,
Well.
aside from whatever plane this town naturally exists in, which, you know, completely different from everywhere else I've been in my life.
That's why I like you, you know? Incredibly cheerful and optimistic.
Sort of, it's like, part of the charm. And he will, yeah, he just sort of will, let's see. Now, we can't, he's trying to think, and of course it's like, I'd say we should maybe try to get some medical attention a little bit, but I don't know where it's I don't know if it's, you know, probably that I assume that I would know the kinds of places not to go to an extent if you want to avoid a gang. And so I assume that like most of them don't have. Well, I don't know. It just depends, right? It's like some of the, because on one thought I was thinking, you know, does the train station have like a nurse's office or something? But would that be a bad place to start looking for something like that?
Without making a roll, I'll give you a few things about Edinburgh in this time.
Gotcha.
The train yard is definitely a place that the local gangs frequent.
Yeah.
But do not control. It is a neutral site.
Okay.
But everyone's got eyes and ears here. This is where things come in and out. Nobody really has a hold on the university. which is a medical university that specializes in dentistry. I mean, if you need to get patched up, like, it's a good place to find somebody who can do a patch job. Then, like, again, but for the most part, like, it's the industrial side of town, the poorer side of town. That's where the gangs frequent. The areas where you guys are likely going are far more posh, far less likely to have your style of criminal, aside from somebody who is at the top of their game, present.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. This is the point at which Jim just casually mentions that despite the character he's playing, he has never, in fact, seen an episode of Peaky Blinders. So it's on my list. I just haven't gotten to it yet. So he's just going to kind of turn back to Lillian and be like, all right, well, you all right? I mean, he checked on Nev first before he's asking Lillian this, though, by the way. But
Nev is a bit banged up, but she's okay.
Okay.
I feel like shit, but should be able to pull it through for the auction.
All right.
I was really hoping to get some rest, but beggars can't be choosers here. And
may be able to talk up somebody over at the uni and see about getting a place to sit for a bit and maybe get some tending to. Why don't you and I, love, get all of our baggage, and we'll have you take the luggage, as she just points to Matthias.
When she said you take the luggage, was she talking about Lillian or me?
She was talking to you, and then
He's not going to do
Penny.
it.
I just checking.
Matthias.
Like,
Yeah.
It's like
referring to Matthias as the luggage.
Oh,
yeah, I kind of figured. It's like, I'm probably going to need him.
If nothing else, that's a body you can throw at the problem.
That is that. It's a pity, though.
Speaking of being conspicuous, you want to one on each arm, and had a little bit too much to drink. Good friend with that.
I think we can do that one. All right. It's a pity he looks so peaceful when he's asleep. It's probably because there's something almost likable about him when he's asleep. I'm not sure what it is.
He's
not talking. That's what it is.
I mean, for all we know, he's still there. So, I mean, I'd be happier. But
right.
sooner or later, he'll return to this vessel, and we'll have to deal with him.
Yeah. All right. And basically, we'll start unpacking. Kenneth is by this point probably still, he probably got on the train this way, dressed in his weird green suit. Moderately important Welshman suit.
Yes.
Let's why don't we I think we'll kind of we'll in our we can have Bernie's for Matthias. We'll wheel over to the other cabin just to kind of check.
Yeah, it's true. We do need to check that.
Meanwhile, let's go back before we go forward. So, there was the question of broaching the upcoming quest with one's love. So, Phineas, how do you go into the cabin with she who is very worried and almost out of chocolates?
Just me?
No, not just you.
Okay.
Yeah. Evie will sit down next to Grace and like take her hand gently, and say, "All right, darling, I think we have an idea of what's going on. And I'm going to need you to be very brave."
I do not like where this is going.
You know a little bit of what I do for work for Phineas, yes?
It involves some strange books and stranger people. Yes.
All right. Well, sometimes in dealing with the strange books, the strange things occur in the world. It's not just confined to odd literature. And we happen to be in one of those situations right now. We're not in any immediate danger, but we can't stay here.
I'm afraid I don't entirely follow.
All right, darling, I'm going to be completely honest with you here. And I need you to just understand that what I'm telling you is not a lie. All right?
Okay, that's
This train car is no longer on the same plane of existence where we started our journey. In order for us to get back to our plane of existence, we're going to have to leave the car and do some task that this plane has assigned to us. If everything goes well, it should spit us out in Edinburgh.
she is trying,
Yeah, I know.
but you have lost her.
And this is why Evie looks over at Phineas and is like, "This is what I did." And
So, crash course. Planes of existence. There are multiple of them. Yes? Are we following? You know of a couple of them. There are stories about them. Heaven, hell.
She looks more and more lost, more and more concerned. And that's when Alice leans in the door. Do you want me to just take care of it?
no, I don't want you to do anything. Thank you.
I can at least make this easier.
I don't need you to be messing around with her mind.
Not going to mess around. But you are absolutely lovely. She is just aghast in this entire situation. Grace is. Yeah. But no, I can make this far easier than you trying to talk your way around this.
And what's your price?
Oh, no. Phineas, love, I just a mild favor later, and I'll clear this up for this young woman. It's not going to be anything where you're going to have spilled blood. Just maybe a memory or two.
Is that directed at?
That's directed
Evie?
at Phineas.
Oh, okay.
Do it.
Okay. And she ashes her cigarette, clicks her heels together.
Oh, Jesus.
Um,
Thought her name was Alice, not Dorothy.
Actually, the name's Alex, love.
Oh, okay.
And horns long,
Oh,
luscious red
Cool.
horns
love it.
and a long barbed tail, like wrap out down out of her dress. It just sort of waves at Grace as she faints.
Does not help. Now we have to carry her.
No, you don't. I mean, that's immortal. She's like, what? Maybe a sack of potatoes? I can just put her over my shoulder.
If you harm her in any way, I will make it my personal mission to end you.
I don't harm without permission or if somebody hasn't been put in my hands. She's safe. Besides, if I harmed that precious mortal, Julian would have my horns.
You say Julian?
Yes.
Okay. Uh-oh, that means something to Celeste, I see.
Yeah, the second he corrected me on the name, I knew exactly who this was.
Evie will start picking up all of their stuff and kind of like consolidating their baggage so that she can take it all with her.
Let's make the most of this.
You still want to go that way and not try any other means? Because this isn't going to be fun.
No, I don't expect it will be fun, but I'd also highly doubt that the doorway will easily jump back to our plane of existence, which introduces a whole new realm of additional complications that I'm not really sure I want to deal with. It's been a long day.
I have two methodologies of getting back. One is making a contract, and then the other is, well, I need help in order to call him here, and then he can give us a lift.
Once again, you continue to make cryptic comments instead of just stating outright.
I have to abide by rules, love, especially while on, well, the other planes of existence. And technically, since we're in the interstitial of those planes, I'm still bound by those laws.
And one of those rules is that you apparently can't say the names of beings you would like us to summon.
I am under very strict rules. You can blame both the Christian God and John D for that.
If we were to enter contract negotiations, would you be able to speak more plainly?
We can make that one of the riders on said contract, yes.
Well, I'm not saying I would sign anything. I'm just
I
saying,
am not that kind of demon, love.
all right, I'm. Evie just like shakes her head and then like walks out of the cabin.
Yes, Phineas?
How do you know I'm spoken for?
I can see clock above your head. Tick, tick, ticking away. I know you don't have much time left, so you don't have much to give. On top of that, you have dabbled in plenty, knowing and unknowing. And so all those little bits and pieces one call the soul has been eaten up, gobbled up, chewed, spit, signed for twice, thrice sometimes. And all those little bits and pieces going this way, that way, and definitely that way. So there's not much left there. That's why I just wanted like a memory for that little, well, giving Miss Grace to quietly and pliantly go along. To put it in the Dickensian way, you have forged one hell of a chain for yourself.
Chains can be broken.
Yes, and I could be the Queen of England, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's going to happen.
He shakes his head and he walks out.
Suit yourself.
Evie will be waiting down at the door.
Oh, let's get a move on. Hopefully we can be in Edinburgh before midnight.
Oh, that does seem to have the storytale component, does it not?
Time is not a factor here. It is everything else. Time might as well be stopped for us. It's distance we have to cover.
Well, no time like the present, I suppose.
One step
And
at a time.
I think at that point we open the door and we go outside into the Never Never proper and see what the ordeal is.
Off we go.
So you transition into
I already did that once. Sorry.
Chish. You go through this interstitial space into another more grandiose interstitial space. I am going to paint you a picture. You find yourselves in an alley. It is not any sort of alley that you are familiar with in any way, shape, or form. The sounds are so much louder. You hear something that sounds like a train. You hear cacophony, different forms of music. The sounds not of the occasional horse-drawn coach, but of cars, many of them, all moving at speed. And you suddenly hear a voice going, "You are most definitely not supposed to be here." And a very low but distinctly large growl of a big dog as you turn and you see a man in a trench coat and a big hat. And that's where we're going to go break.
Interesting. All right, folks, we will be back shortly. I have an interview I can throw on here, and we will see you momentarily, and we can find out what the heck is happening. See you soon. We have returned. Hello.
So we come back to an alleyway with a someone of an infernal heritage at the very least. Evie, Phineas, and an unconscious Grace. With a man in a trench coat, a hat, now coming into view a hockey stick, and the barking and growling of a very large dog. Him saying, "You are not supposed to be here. Mouse, calm down."
Right?
So
The gun is on my shoulder. I'm not pointing it at the dog. I'm not that much of an asshole.
I would put that down, sir. It's probably going to break your shoulder.
I can handle it, son. I think you should put yours down.
It's a stick.
And you shouldn't bring one to a gunfight. Put it down.
He just kind of lowers the like it was just like holding it like a walking stick and just kind of like lowers it. Mouse, don't eat him. You just hear him referring off to the side, like around the corner. You can hear the dog. And then as the lights come by, you see this massive shadow of something more bear than dog-like.
Oh, good.
As I look around the alley, does it seem like we're still in the Never Never, or we have like
No, you
merged
have
somewhere else?
transitioned to a different space.
Yeah. Okay. So she'll look at the man and say, "You'll have to excuse us. We're having a very rough day. Do you mind telling us where we are right now?"
USA,
Oh dear.
ring any bells?
Oh dear. This is going to sound like a terribly odd question. What year is it?
It's 1999.
And Evie just looks at Phineas and says, "Oh dear."
As if interdimensional travel wasn't enough.
Oh dear.
Both space and time, it seems.
I just sensed the portal open and close. I'm guessing you all came through it.
We did, yes. We were stuck in the Never Never. It's kind of a
Here, you need to get out of here. Let's go back to my office.
okay, yeah. That can't possibly be worse than the rest of our day.
Sure, I've got yogurt. Come on.
And yeah, Evie will follow. Nailed it.
Nailed it. Wait, hold on. I think I know who this. Never mind.
And yeah, you walk around the corner. You go in to this brick building. And You come in, there's this sort of wide room. Everything is messy. Relatively low tech, considering the time period. There's things everywhere. There's a large table. There's just a random skull sitting there next to a tome that's open.
I mean, Evie would be remiss if she didn't at least look at the spine of the book to see what it is.
Tobin's Spirit Guide.
Fun. Okay.
So, this is the first time I've encountered somebody who claims to be out of space and time. Weird things happening.
This is the first time I've accidentally traveled, God, 60 years in time.
Unless you're the one who's traveled in time.
No, I am definitely in Chicago, and I am definitely where I should be, but you all look. And yeah, there's a couch over there. He just wants Alex to lay Grace down. She just sort of nods.
Yeah. I mean, I would feel terrible just unloading on you.
I'm guessing that's a term phrase.
This is a really long story, and I don't.
Well,
it's not your problem.
My date kind of stood me up, so I've got the night off.
Okay. When we came into his office, did we see like the plaque or the signage?
Yeah.
Okay. So at this point, we would know that he's he's an investigator of some
Yes.
kind. Okay. Um, how much do you knew enough to know that there was a portal opening? How much do you know about the Never Never?
Enough to stay the fuck out with.
Okay, well, we didn't go into it willingly.
You people do other things. Doing more well.
This is going to sound crazy if I tell you this. What happened?
I have heard many a strange thing.
And of course, Evie does not know who this is. So does she get a sense that, like, if she tells him, he's actually going to believe her?
You get a sense from the accoutrement around, like you can take in the room. You have a high occult score.
Yeah, like this room it reeks of occult.
Like there is weird shit everywhere, and like eventually you see like mouse move past because you cannot help but see the giant fucking dog.
Mm-hmm.
What breed is it? Out of curiosity.
In this space and time, it looks like some cross between a Caucasian mountain dog and a Newfie.
I see.
Had some sort of bear-like child.
All right. Why not? Telling you what happened can't. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that. Telling you what happened shouldn't result in anything worse than what's already happened to us today. So we don't even know where to start. We are from London, you may have guessed from the accents, in 1931.
Well, you're definitely from wrong space, wrong time. So
Yes, well, Phineas owns a shop, a bookstore, and I work for Phineas. We were on our way to Edinburgh with some colleagues, and we were on a train when something went terribly wrong. There was a flash of white light. The sound kind of went funny, and we were still in the train car, but now in the Never Never. And ultimately, we decided not to stay. We went through a door, and now we're here. 60 years and half a world later.
you need to get back there and then.
Yes, ideally as fast as possible. We left our friends behind, and we were kind of in the middle of some things.
Well, uh, that's gonna be difficult. Because obviously you have to do something to put yourselves right. Uh, that sort of travel has a significant, like, just magical theory practice a price. You got spat out here for obviously some reason.
Your guess is as good as mine. I really don't know why. I knew it was malleable in terms of distance and time to some extent, but I wasn't expecting 60 years.
There are things that are at least as old as young and just as troublesome. To talk or possibly put to rest something that'll considering that, no offense, sir, you do have a very large gun.
I carry it for very good reason, especially given the situation we were in.
We were anticipating some potential trouble in Edinburgh.
Use for that, I mean, not too much. I wouldn't feel whatever you're firing out back. So, given story you're carrying, a definite need to get back before certain summons haven't showed up and marching down my door protesting things. But you're here. I found you first. Be able to put you on the right path, though. I don't know what kind of right path is given the company that you're keeping.
I assume this is a reference to Alex, who's still with us.
Yeah. Just sort of like,
Evie will look over her and say, She's an unfortunate hangers-on. We picked her up in the train car. She was not with us when we left London.
My line of work, coincidence is a rare thing. Like it happens occasionally, but not often.
All right, well, let's put it this way. We didn't exactly invite her along, and it's not like, well, I guess I should only speak for myself. I'm certainly not working for hell.
Alex just sort of pipes up. I don't work for hell, honey. I work for myself.
Okay, fine. Whatever makes you sleep easier at night.
See, that's the wonderful thing. I don't sleep.
Anyway, my point is, if there's anything you can do to help us get home, we would greatly appreciate it. If not, if you could at least point us in the direction of, I don't know, the nearest occult resource that you trust, who might have some knowledge that could help us, bookstore, someone who, person, some form of knowledge, that would also be helpful. I have some experience in this, although not, clearly not enough.
Either whatever the physical powers put you here for some sort of specific purpose, or you need to somehow reopen that exact same portal, exact same resonance, pass through it, might get you back onto the train car, might get you back to the right time and place where you're headed, or find another established portal and a guide.
Anything along those lines. I'm willing to accept any of those options at this point.
Give me a few seconds. Consult some things. Maybe make a phone call.
Thank you. Thank
He
you.
goes rifling through some of his filing cabinets. Then just sort of like gives a stern look to the skull. Like a stern knowing, how dare you say that? And then rifles through something else, then goes to his desk. Okay. Not a lot of good leads. What you said you research.
I do, yes.
Um, take this card. I'll see about calling a cab. Drive you to the location. It's going to look abandoned. Trust me, it's not abandoned. Go
Okay.
up the door, shave and a haircut.
Okay.
On the door. They'll get you in. Try and make nice. What you're going to do about your friend who's passed out? I got some smoke sense.
I mean, honestly, at this point, it may just be easier to leave her passed out. If we're able to resolve this quickly, she doesn't even have to know that this happened.
It's your party. But you might find somebody there who can help. Just definitely mind your P's and Q's. Try not to upset anybody. be careful. It's kind of a wild night out.
We will be as careful as we can be. And I learned manners. Manners were drilled into me growing up. I can be polite.
Just, again, it's Halloween. You're going to want to be careful.
Of course it is.
So I shouldn't be required to put the gun away then. People will think it's a prop.
No, that looks like a gun. People are probably going to be weirded out by giant freaking gun.
Phineas, it's fine if you want to put the gun away. And Evie will like dig into her own bag and like show the Derringer that she has in there.
I would rather keep it on hand, but it needs must.
We do have other options should it come to that.
I start breaking it down.
Okay, well, let me call you that cat.
And I'll take the card. What does the card say?
It just says the bar.
Okay.
It's a bar with no name.
Number is 666-777-8899.
Okay.
And you guys get in the car. The cat picks you up. Cabby doesn't miss a beat. Doesn't even ask.
It's Halloween.
Seemingly has already been paid. And just here's your stop.
Yep.
You get out. It looks like a terrible part of town. It is just a large, looks like a broken down factory edifice. There is one lone boarded up door.
We go up to the door and do the shave and a haircut.
Door opens. There is, how do I put it? Like, take your classic night noir heavy, opens the door, looks at all of you, very confused, but goes, all right, come in, just mind your P's and Q's. I guess you can drop your friend off on the couch.
Thank you. And Evie will try to project some confidence as she saunters in, having no idea what we're walking into.
It's a strange place. I want you, let me paint a picture. So, have you seen that not Hellraiser movie, Constantine?
Yes.
I want you to picture if Papa Midnight's and a proper Irish pub had a baby. There are very strange people at all the different tables. There's definitely all sorts of alcohol and other things being served. But also you see somebody in, I am not joking, classic robes and wizard's hats off in the corner playing poker with a bunch of other old guys, one of them definitely in a cowboy hat. And yeah, no one seems to even bat an eye at all of you.
Okay. Does anybody jump out as being someone who looks like they might be able to help us in any way?
There is a deeply weathered, like Chicago Irish American man behind the bar
Mm-hmm.
that just kind of looks you all up. First time?
Quite. Any advice for a newcomer?
Be polite. What can I get you?
Well, before I order anything, we probably should discuss the subject of payment.
No credit cards, cash, gold, if we have to, memories, because
How
that's what the Fae paid.
how do you feel about cash that isn't US dollars?
Always exchange.
Okay, fantastic. What would you like, Phineas?
What was it? Whiskey.
Sure.
Make that two, please.
I'm not getting any younger.
Like Alex refrains.
Yeah, that's fine. Evie needs a drink.
Pours you both whiskeys. So, aside from the Swift drink, you obviously need more than that.
Yes. We're looking for someone who has some expertise in travel through Never Never, specifically travel through time and space, both.
Oh. Oh. If you wait an hour, Mary will take over my shift. She might be able to help you with that, though prices are stiffer than doing a cut with you. And then the next best thing is could go over to Mr. Blood over there, interrupt his game, and see about him calling the black cab for you. Services ain't cheap, but they'll get you to where you need to go.
We will
And
take that
when we
under.
need to go, I take it.
Black cab goes everywhere. Just, it's the black cab.
Okay. Well, I suppose we can wait an hour. Phineas, that doesn't. I doubt one more hour will make a huge amount of difference.
Who's to say the amount of time that passes here is the amount of time that's passing when we're from?
That makes my head hurt to even think about. And she will like drink a significant chunk of her whiskey.
Okay. So time passes. It is rather eventful for Halloween. A lot of people come in and out, or you think they're people, or at least they wear things that look like people. And after about an hour, a woman comes in. For those of you who are familiar with the Netflix series Fall of the House of Usher, you've seen this bartender before.
Oh my God.
As she comes in, No, aren't you a pair of sights? Charlie told me you have a little bit of a situation.
That is perhaps putting it lightly. We are in need of someone who has expert skills in manipulating time and space.
I'm good at manipulation. There's only so far I can go.
Well, the previous bartenders seemed to indicate that you might be able to point us in the direction of some kind of solution.
Charlie's kind, so not most knowledgeable, but then again, he's only
Is that a no?
anything's possible. It's just not what one's willing to pay.
And does this need to be discussed right now in order to point us in the right direction?
My services, yes. But again, there are a number of patrons at this bar that are more than willing to make any sort of deal. They'll buy everywhere.
Well, let's consider our options before we make a selection, but right now I'm leaning toward that black cab that was mentioned.
Jason still seems to be having a lucky streak, so I was going to get up from that table.
Well, I suppose it doesn't hurt to ask what you charge for your services.
Well, let me take a look at you. As she just like cocks her head slightly. And it's like she is peering into your soul.
Shocker. I think while that's going on, Evie knocks back whatever remains of her whiskey, trying to act like she doesn't care.
Torture the little bird. I mean, I could take morphine, but that wouldn't feel right. I don't think I'm for you, sweetheart.
Can you repeat that?
I don't think I'm for you, sweetheart. You've already had enough taken from you. You don't necessarily have the heart to take more.
All right. Well, I have to get home somehow.
I'm certain you'll find somebody that can get you home. I just know that someone shouldn't be me.
Okay.
You're in a bad way, but not bad enough for me.
I don't know if I should be relieved or disappointed.
Bit of both.
So we could go talk to, she points over to the poker table.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else?
Oh, well, I think I spy with my little eye Princess in the corner with a minder. The prices are definitely high, a bit more twisted than mine. But she might leave you cold and bloody, but she'll get you home. Then, let's see here. You're looking for just somebody to take you traipsing down the lane. I think that small gentleman over there that is nursing that coffee might be a tour guide. And then, like, pick your poison amongst those at the poker table.
All right. And she'll turn to Phineas. Where do you want to start?
Do we want to shop around, or do we want to go with the one that seems like the surest thing so far?
Given the likelihood of the costs being rather difficult, shopping around seems like it might be prudent. I don't particularly want to walk out of here with any more burdens on my soul than I already have.
You pick one and I'll pick one. We'll split the labor.
Seems fine. I'll take the tour guide if you would like to take the poker table.
I'm not that bad at poker.
Well, first, let's go to the tour guide. So that'll be quick. Sprightly little man. Maybe even sitting in the booth might be 5 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
Slightly pointed ears, big nose. Takes one look at you. No offense, but I don't want whatever you're selling.
I'm not selling anything.
Go through me.
In fact, I was coming to ask you potentially to sell something.
It's night of all nights. Okay, let's hear.
We find ourselves in need of someone who can help us get to a particular time and place.
You want to go somewhere tonight?
Yes. Well, the ultimate destination is not tonight, but we would like to leave tonight. Yes.
I mean, we could, but I don't think you're willing to give me your firstborn, so.
I think Evie has to stop and like record scratch and think about that one for a second, because her interests primarily swing to women, which means the likelihood of there being a firstborn, especially with no real weight on her right now from a familial pressure standpoint, is slim. Is that your usual going rate?
For a night like tonight, that's kind of just like standard fare, considering all the Hellraisers are going to be out.
Okay. I will consider it. Thank you.
Okay.
He walks away being like, I mean, if you make a deal for your firstborn, you never have a firstborn, doesn't really matter. Like, that's not really lying.
Like, he seems rather hopeful and like watching after you now.
I mean, she didn't reject it out of hand.
He must not get a lot of all considerates. She didn't ask us to guess his name.
No, not a lot around that around here. So, you should make your way over to the poker table.
Mm-hmm.
There is not a chair available for you.
Okay.
Again, there are a bunch of the phrase dried up old men at this table.
So I'm right at home.
Um, with the exception of one
This is my people.
who stands out from all the rest. He is impeccably well dressed.
Mm-hmm.
A little stuffed shirt. He has a red cravat. Okay.
Oh, Mateus would love this guy.
Dark brown hair with one streak of gray
Mm-hmm.
going right along the part. It is impeccably slicked back. And you look down at the cards. They're not playing cards.
Ah.
This looks like some form of tarot.
Oh, fun. I love it.
That somehow they're playing a game of cards with.
That's cool.
And cowboy speaks up. He just sighs long. Goes, old timer, this ain't the game for you. Right now, there's only two people who's got services. That's either the witch or the demon.
Sir, I'm just looking to get home. Why did I slip into that shit? It jumped out. Sir, I'm just looking to get home. If there's anybody who can assist me with that, that's all I'm looking for.
Sounds like one for you, Jason. Well, if you're looking for a home, I can call a few folks for a price.
Well, let's talk price then.
Indeed. In that case, you don't have long. Blood wouldn't make any sense in this case. I really don't want to be trading memories anymore. That's a fool's game. But considering you're not from here or when here, might be able to alter a few things for me. That would do. What do you say?
So let me make sure I understand correctly. You'll take me back to my time and place, provided I perform some tasks for you that will alter the course of history.
That's the long and short of it, yes.
Right. If you'll excuse me, I'm considering it, but we're weighing our options, my group. So I will be back.
Certainly.
And I go to Evie. Like, we haven't talked to the princess yet, but I think between these two options, we've got, like...
I mean, I shudder to think what the princess's options would be, given the way that was introduced to us.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, when you come back, Evie will be like, well, I've been asked for my firstborn. How about you?
Alter the course of history.
Hmm. One of those seems distinctly less directly bad for the two of us.
Are you considering giving up a firstborn?
I don't really intend to have children, so
Mm,
That's when Alex pipes up. You make a deal for a firstborn, the firstborn happens whether you like it or not.
well, now I'm less interested.
Just saying, deals with Fae have a way of always being paid.
Did they say what precisely they wanted us to alter?
I have a feeling that's not really terribly negotiable.
Well, it just might influence our decisions, I suppose, but I mean, it does seem like the better offer.
And if I may be incredibly terrible, it's not like I'll be around to experience it.
Well, I suppose if it makes change here 60 years later, I probably won't be around to experience it either.
Hmm. There's like there is something crossing Phineas's face about like, yeah, he won't be here, but his family his descendants likely will be, and he's not liking that picture.
And Evie plans to have no descendants, so she doesn't care.
Phineas cares a little. Well,
I mean, I suppose we could go see what the third offer is, but I doubt we're going to like it anymore.
I doubt it. Yeah. Well, let's change history then.
All right.
So you go back over to the book table.
Mhm.
I see. Looks like my offer is the best one.
All right.
Let me get a look at you. I also need you. He speaks to himself. I also need you to take a look at almost in a growl. And his eyes go completely orange as he takes a deep, long look at both of you. Closes his eyes for a moment. I need you to accomplish three things. When we get back to Edinburgh, one, you need to burn down the auction house before sunrise.
All right.
Two, you have to keep Lillian alive.
Okay.
Three, cannot solve the puzzle box.
None of that seems terribly difficult and already aligned with our interests for the most part.
Right. Do we have an accord?
Are we allowed to know what this will read? I didn't think so. Doesn't hurt to ask.
Even I don't know.
Phineas offers his hand.
Shakes yours. He was one.
Or he needs Evie's signature. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Evie will offer her hand to shake.
Shakes your hand. And you too, Alex, dear. And she begrudgingly gives her hand. Well, takes care of the guilty parties. You can bring Grace home. I'll call you the cap. You never gave him the names. He gets up from his seat, goes to the payphone. Cab will be waiting for you outside.
Excellent.
Thank you very kindly, sir.
We don't want to wait out there. Don't want to miss him.
We'll be on our way then.
Off we go.
Go outside. And waiting there for about 10 minutes with this worn but well-to-do modern black handsome cat, completely inappropriate for Chicago, comes rolling up. Stops. There is young man, very pale, black shirt, purple eyes, flat cap. Rolls down the window. Sarah's been paid. Go ahead and look on her. Do you need a hand with her?
I think we can manage. Thank you.
Here, let me put her up front so she can warm up. Loads you all in. Once you're all done with it, just sort of, there's a sign on the back side of passenger side front seat that Grace is sitting. They just like taps, and it's a list of options. Conversation, no conversation, just music, express.
I think Evie looks at Phineas like this. You negotiated this.
I think Phineas is curious because this is like, you said young man, this is like a kid, right?
All at once, he looks like he's maybe 21, but his eyes say he's older than time itself.
What's your name, my boy?
Arthur.
Sorry. It's like seeing an old friend for the first time in ages. I'm sorry. I'll explain after when we cut out.
Where to?
Edinburgh, 1931, Valentine's Day.
Certainly. Selection? He just points back to the sign.
Why don't we have some music?
Certainly. Fills around with knobs on the radio. And every song you've ever loved, truly and deeply, plays along the car ride. Just one after the other. You are lost in the music. You do not even see the outside of the cab as he drives. You lose track of time. And then pulling up at the train station, you can literally see Nev, Lillian with the luggage, moving between cars, checking on your specific cabin. As he pulls up, just as he does, Grace starts to come to.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Thank you very much, my boy.
Take care. Don't get into too much trouble.
Get out of the cab. Evie will help Grace as she's
Yeah.
stirring.
Alex just kind of like waves her hand at you as she stays in the back of the cab. I'll take this one elsewhere. And cab drives off, and instead of the sound of a car pulling away, it sounds more like the howl of a hound. As it drives off. And Kenneth, as
Right.
Lily and Nev sort of are surprised at the severe lack of people in the cabin, you look up and you can see through the window Phineas, Evie, and Grace outside the train. And miraculously, all of their luggage is sitting next to them, right behind them.
Sort of looking glancing back, because I imagine that I'm just sort of trying to get Matthias
You're
up and
propping
sort
up
of like,
Matthias.
and I'm just sort of like looking out the window, looking back at them, looking back down the car as they as Lillian and Nev are looking down there, and I'm just sort of like, no, it's all right. They're already outside. They damn, probably traveled by book.
Oh, Lord.
And as you guys reunite, as Grace comes to having one hell of a hangover, that's what we're going to call it for tonight.
Yay.
Nice.
That was for me. My boy.
I actually am thinking I'm remembering something. It was did we see a previous Pope PC for a moment there?
For a moment.
Okay, I am remembering the thing now.
There
I
is
didn't-
now, like,
yeah.
within the chem, there's one trans-dimensional cabbie.
That's I think I caught I can't remember which AP it was, but I remember catching a little bit of it at some point.
That,
So, yeah.
that was Sunset City.
That was where
Ah.
Pope and I met.
Oh,
That,
cool.
that was a bit of a call out, considering that's where Julian and Alex came from.
Yeah.
Okay. Was that Matev 7? Was that one? Or
Yeah.
Was that...
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. I remember. Very cool.
Every once in a while, I get self-referential. Not often.
No worries. It happens. It it happens. All right. Well, we're going to do something. We're going to do our outros. Yes, there we are. Sorry, coming back to myself here. Who am I? What am I doing? What's my purpose in life? I was just sort of thinking back to the like every now and then when we just sort of will I will very occasionally sprinkle characters through different things. Very occasionally. I think it's happened in Deadlands more often than any other time. But it's more of no, it's in there. Okay. Anyway, things that, but mostly with Deadlands, it's characters that almost were my PCs and I ended up using later as NPCs. Just for people who have just to refer to something that people who haven't seen at all, because it's on a distant place. It's Agent Stax was one of those. But we're going to go ahead and go around and do our outros. Feel free to tell folks where they can find you and any final thoughts you have about this session. Unfortunately, Lynn had to dive off as was not feeling great. And so we hope all is well. But we're going to start once again with Pope.
Hey everybody, Pope here. Pope will build on the internet, especially over at Blue Sky, and start playing games, first business and pleasure. I have a number of stuff on offer. I have both a Exalted First Edition set in the West at 2:30 p.m. Eastern every other Saturday, and the opposite slot, a 40K First Edition Dark Heresy game. Same time slot in Saturday nights. I've got 3 seats still open over at 8 p.m. Eastern for another 40K game. And then I've got 3 slots left open on Sundays weekly, 2:30 p.m. Eastern for Urban Shadows game. Our session 0 is going to be, at least our first one is going to be this Sunday. Definitely, if you want to hop in any of those, feel free to start hopping on to start playing games. You can send me a message through there. Or if you want to commission me for anything, one-shots, short shots, long-term campaigns, I am there for hire. As times are definitely getting leaner here, it seems my teaching days may be numbered as, well, everyone's tightening their belts and parents have to focus on things like, food or maybe moving out of the state. So if you feel like giving this fella a hand, please feel free to drop me a line. Or if you want me to take a look at a reel or do anything audition related, drop me a line over at Blue Sky. But yeah, no, this was a lot of fun. I'm glad we got to see what the other side was doing. Well, we sort of had be digging into the pouch of stuff with a few old references and a few new ones, given that everything is canon, not everything is true. Got to see precisely where the Never Never sent those folks and the ordeal that set out for them, as well as some manifestations of the Never Never, because whatever goes in, it remembers, and it keeps and reformats to its desire. So, yeah, that was a lot of fun. And we got to see some, what I like to put a top 10, which if you haven't read Top Cow, J. Michael Straczynski, amazing comic book series where everything in the art and background is a reference to something. It's been a great inspiration for me, and I got to do it with this game, so that is an absolute joy. And thank you all for being here. We're a live audience. It stores nothing without its audience. You're much part of this as we are. I'm looking forward to what sort of dangers and depravities these folks get into next. And as things progress with this story, be mindful of your own. And try and write a good one. See you around, folks.
Awesome. Please, folks, go check out Pope's various games and what have you. And this is definitely an experience people must have. So please go check that out. And now we will head over to Danielle.
Hello, everyone. I'm Danielle. My socials are about to be in the chat. You can follow me if you like nerdy stuff. I'm a big cosplayer. I'm not really playing in any other games right now, so that's really probably the main thing that you would follow me for. Had a great time tonight, just mucking around with shenanigans, and shout out to the Harry Dresden cameo. That was very fun. That was my first thought when Pope said the word never never. That was my first thought. And then I literally just finished rereading those books, and I am running a Dresden Files game on Tuesday nights right now. So it is that was a timely reference right there. I enjoyed that very much, but looking forward to seeing how the Edinburgh affair ends up shaking down, considering all of the interesting directions it seems to be going.
Excellent. So good. And finally, we will head over to Celeste.
Hi, I'm Celeste. I was gonna try and make a joke, but it just didn't happen. Life's hard. Playing games is fun. You should play more games with people, especially with Pope, because he's good people. I'm in the Saturday night 40K game, and it's, so if you want to come play 40K with me and him, come play with us. It's a good time. Seeing Arthur, oh God, it's like seeing an old friend that you haven't seen for years. It's literally that was the first table that I was ever at Pope with, and that was that was a deep cut. That's Arthur's a character that's near and dear to my heart. So yeah, that was great. And honestly, I caught the Dresden reference just a little late because I'm not super familiar. I've read half of the first book, but when it started to click in my head, I went over to the side on Discord. Full disclosure, I was hey, a friend of mine who really loves the Dresden series, I was hey, does Dresden have a dog named Mouse? And he was yeah. And I was oh, okay, so that's really who that is. But yeah, I am a big fan of the cherry picking from previous games that you've been in and tossing characters in like their salad toppings. So like that's like I always love that, especially if I have like a little bit of familiarity with the characters. It's like all of these neat references to things that I already love, so it's great. I'm babbling at this point. I don't really do much anymore. If you need me for something, like DM me, I guess my socials are there or something. Like hit me up. I want to do more things on the internet. But other than that, I'm not doing a lot right now. So I'll see you next week. Yeah, over to you, Jim.
Hey. That was awesome. That was very cool. And every now and then, it's I just loved that scene where it was like you're about to give Grace a crash course in the planes of existence, and then it just sort of ended up just getting to the point. It's like, no, just make her pass out.
Make her unconscious. It's fine. This is easier than trying to like expand this woman's horizons.
So good, so good. This was really good. But who am I? Great question. At the moment, I'm Jim. You can find me on at OtherDoc on Twitch, YouTube, and most social media platforms. Wherever I'm not OtherDoc, I'm Jim Yes That Jim. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. Down below, if you're watching live on Twitch, you can access my website, social media links, YouTube channel, and various other things. In about a little less than a week's time on Thursday, if Lucci is available, we will be starting a new text adventure. And when I say new, I mean new for the series we've been doing of text adventures. We're doing Abject Adventure Gamery, and we're playing text adventure games from the 1980s. And we at this point we're in 1983, and we are getting ready to start Enchanter, the first of the Enchanter trilogy. It was made as kind of a follow-up to the Zork trilogy, and so we're heading back to fantasy. We've been doing a lot of sci-fi, and so we're very much looking forward to that. There's a lot of spell casting in that trilogy of games, and so we're gonna start that up, and then of course, Friday, 1 week from today, we have more of this. And honestly, I cannot wait to I cannot wait to have Kenneth complain about the giant Langoliers. And
I am so looking forward to y'all comparing notes. And whatever you're going to do to get poor Matthias help. And seeing how well or terrible that goes, that is going to be an absolute delight.
Yes, that's this is going to be so good. And also, I can't wait to see Matthias's expression when he finds out the other group went to the future without him, because I feel like he would have had a definite agenda.
Oh.
You might not have been able to get him back home.
One, he would have refused to go back. I am most certain. Especially when he found out how easy pornography was available.
Oh goodness, yeah.
And just how easily manipulated people are. Like he would have just. I have found my heaven. And y'all can go back.
We would be living in the timeline where he becomes president instead of Trump.
No. It's Matthias. He's too smart to become president. He would be one of Trump's advisors.
Oh
you right.
Well,
let the man get assassinated. I'll have all the power behind him.
Well, let's not delve too much into real life horror as we get into
this is a fantasy because Matthias would have ruled things better.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
Correct.
Well, excellent. Well, I think that's roughly everything. That's roughly everything in the universe. So when we when we hit the end card, we're going to go say hi to someone. We're going to go do some raid or other, which there are a couple of folks still going right now. So I will randomly select one of them, and I think it's all fantasy right now. I think it's all fantasy at the moment. Lollygaggers are doing Dragonbane. We might go say hi to them. We'll see. But or one of the other two over here. But in any case, so feel free to hang on if you're so inclined and say hi to them with us. In the meantime, folks, just once again as a reminder, you're unique, and that's wonderful because variety is very important and you matter. Please remember to take care of yourselves and give yourself grace when you need to. Take care, folks, and we will catch you next time. Farewell.